Books presents an unabridged recording of Death's Half-Acre by Margaret Maron, narrated by C.J. Critt. This book is copyrighted 2008 by Margaret Maron. This recording is copyrighted 2008 by Recorded Books. Unchecked urbanization has begun to eclipse the North Carolina countryside. As farms give way to shoddy mansions, farmers struggle to slow the rampant growth. In the shadows, corrupt county commissioners use their political leverage to make profitable deals with new developers, and a murder will pull Judge Deborah Knott and Sheriff's Deputy Dwight Bryant into the middle of this bitter dispute, forcing them to confront some dark realities. And now, Death's Half-Acre.
Easter morning. Inside the windowless Church of Jesus Christ Eternal, the Easter Sunday sermon is drawing to a close. Although Mr. McKinney has been known to preach for 2 hours or more when thoroughly aroused, services usually end around noon. Thinking that she hears a winding down tone in his voice, the teenage pianist quietly turns the pages of her hymnal to the closing hymn the preacher selected at the last minute. An odd choice for Easter, she thinks. Not that it is hers to question, but the other hymns celebrated the resurrection, while this one harkens back to the cross and is less familiar to her than some. The thorns in my path are not sharper than composed his crown for me. The cup that I drink not more bitter than he drank in Gethsemane. She has to squint to see the shaped notes, because the fluorescent tubes overhead are flickering and buzzing again. She has been told these are cheaper than regular light fixtures, but the flickers hurt her eyes. Not for the first time, she wonders why they couldn't have windows here in the sanctuary. Surely God's natural light would be so much better. But Dad says Mr. McKinney vetoed colored glass as too costly, and clear glass would rob them of their privacy. "I don't think we're likely to have peeping Toms," one of the deacons said, when they were first shown the blueprints for their newly founded church. But Mr. McKinney reminded them of the biblical injunction to pray in secret. "And thy Father, who seeth in secret, shall reward thee openly." "Besides," said another, "without windows, it'll be cheaper to build and more economical to heat and cool." All of this her father reported with approval. When their old church split down the middle because the more worldly members wanted to spend the Lord's money on new carpets and pew cushions, Mr. McKinney announced his intentions of building a plain church out of his own money, a church where God would be worshipped in deeds and sacrifice, not with creature comforts and ornamentation. Her dad's favorite saying is, "Look after the pennies, and the dollars will look after themselves." And he likes it that Mr. McKinney feels the same way. Her mom is less impressed. She has heard that Mrs. McKinney comes from money, and that it is actually her inheritance that built the church, even though Mr. McKinney has never said so. From her seat at the piano, the girl can look out over the congregation while appearing to pay strict attention to the sermon. Last Sunday, the pews were filled with dark colors and heavier fabrics. Today, the girls and women wear colorful spring dresses, and she feels pretty in her own sky blue dress. And there is Mrs. McKinney, seated on the front pew, looking almost pretty herself in a neat navy blue suit. The suit itself is old, but her high-necked white blouse is edged in crisp white lace and looks new. Her long brown hair is brushed straight back from her face and held at the nape of her neck with a matching navy blue ribbon. No lipstick, of course. Mr. McKinney does not approve of makeup, though several of the women shrug their shoulders at that, and her own parents let her wear lipstick as long as she stays with pastel shades. Idly, she wonders what it would be like to marry a preacher and always know the right thing to do. Probably nothing like marriage to the tall, handsome boy who makes her feel confused and stupid whenever she goes into the barbecue house where he waits tables in the evenings. Not that she is allowed to date yet, and not that her parents would let her date one of the Knott boys anyhow. They want someone safe and reliable and average for her. Mr. McKinney is average height and average weight, although he is beginning to get a little pot-belly and the shadow of a double chin. He has more hair than a lot of men his age, and he is not particularly handsome, but his deep-set blue eyes seem to look from his soul straight into hers, and his voice has the range of an organ. That voice can reduce a sinner to tears. It can stir the righteous to anger over society's moral lapses. It can soothe and comfort the afflicted. As if reading her thoughts, the preacher's voice changes, and she realizes that he is not winding down after all. Instead, his voice introduces a new subject, and he goes from talking about Jesus' sacrifice and resurrection to the Easter lilies massed around the pulpit, which he compares to the colorful new clothes that bloom on the women today. The lilies are here to celebrate the rebirth of Christ, he tells them, pure, white, and chaste. Then, in a voice that holds more sorrow than accusation, he asks the women to examine their hearts. Do they wear their new spring clothes to honor Christ? Or is it from sinful pride?
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.